All right, welcome in. We've seen the end of Ole Miss, Miami. The Rebels fall. Miami advances. Just a ESPN classic of a game. If you don't like college football, I don't know how you can't be a fan of that. Ole Miss made some plays down the stretch. They tried to stay in it as long as they could. Miami just made more plays at the end of the day, and that's just kind of where it shook out. Ole Miss just did not have the firepower that Miami did at the end. Mario Cristobal gets through there unscathed. Also, we'll go over some stats. Just trying to get the podcast promoted, trying to get it out there. But if you're new here and enjoy the content, appreciate everybody. Also, the phone line is open. Number to call 260-255-4069. The number is on the ticker below. So there is that. Just trying to digest what that was. That was a little bit of under a 4.5 hours. I think I was live and I missed like 10 minutes of it. So the TV people didn't really they did not really disappoint, to say the least. So there is that. Also, if you guys want to call, you can call in. Number to call 260-255-4069. That's a hell of a way to lose a game right there, boys and girls. I know some people probably not thrilled. The thanks for watching. Yeah, we'll get that off of there. Just let's dive into the Ole Miss Miami game. Like I said, phone line is open. Number to call 260-255-4069 is the number to call if you want to hop on and voice pleasure or displeasure. We'll just keep it up to what you guys want to talk about. We'll be on here half hour tops if the call volume goes high. Well, I'll stay on even longer. I know it's a Thursday night. A lot of people got to get up in the morning, but that is just a hell of a way to lose a game on the last second drive. I will tell you that. So as I get to the stats, looking at Carson Beck, 23 of 37, 268 yards. Did throw one INT. Trinidad Chambliss, 23 of 37, 277 yards. Kewan Lacey, 11 carries, 103 yards. I know there's a lot of things to be said. What if he was healthy? I can't say I don't disagree, but when the big thing coming over to the team stats, I think it's time of possession as to where it goes. I think they got uber tired at the end. The Ole Miss defense was what it was. Miami possessed the ball for 41 minutes and 22 seconds. You're not going to win many games doing that. Also, one of the things that Miami did not do well was the penalty battle. Miami 10 penalties, 74 yards. Ole Miss four penalties, 34 yards. So there is that. Also, we're just getting it going here. I just don't know what else to say. I mean, They're showing all kinds of stuff from today. As I'm putting it on there right now. Sorry about that. I know this is riveting podcasting, but the phone number is there. So if you want to call and talk, you can. There is no wait whatsoever. Phone line's wide open, so it's all yours if you want it. Number to call 260-255-4069 if you want to hop on in and offer some commentary. Putting this out there. Gotta put it on the IG. All right, so there's that. Got that promoted. Just trying to do some other things. Exchanging several text messages at the moment as well, with people texting me, asking me what I thought. So it's kind of what it is. That's Ole Miss's defense got tired at the end. And 44 minutes time of possession, I don't know how you overcome that. Sorry about this, everybody. I'm just sending messages out. So there is that. Also, phone line is open if you want to get that as well. I'm just doing all kinds of stuff here, getting everything around, all the promotion and stuff like that. It's just kind of an old bugaboo whenever you're a one-man band. So there is that. Getting that posted. So, all right, I'm locked in now. So, time of possession, big talking point, in my opinion. It's something that I don't think should be glossed over or missed. Miami 11 of 19 on third down. Ole Miss 2 of 10 on third down. Ole Miss did not go for it on fourth down. Miami ends up with 459 total yards, 268 through the air, and 191 on the ground. And the big back-breaking plays at the end of the game where Carson Beck scrambles. Gets it there. They don't. Ole Miss can't just do it. They just can't get it done. So that's kind of what we got going in the chamber right now. Also, phone line is wide open if you want to call, especially all you people watching on Twitter. Hop on over to the YouTube side of things and call in. I'm interested to hear what the fans have to say. That's the whole reason why I open up the phone lines. Appreciate everybody hopping in, and appreciate Doreen for liking the stream. She always helps out when she can. So that's just kind of where we're at. Phone line is open. Number to call, 260-255-4069 is the number to call if you want to hop in. But yeah, we'll go back to the time of possession. Pretty much everything on Miami's side of it. Miami executed it when they needed to. Ole Miss was throwing at the end zone at the end of the game, so they had guys make plays too. Keywan Lacey, I think, being hurt with the quote-unquote hamstring. I didn't have the TV broadcast up. Being live on YouTube during the watch party, you can't have the audio, so there's kind of that. I'm just curious on what I'm just kind of curious on what you guys are thinking out there. Appreciate all 55 in here on a school night of all things, but there's kind of what we got on the docket. It just never ceases to amaze me on how some of these big time college bowl games or playoff games end, to say the least. Hold on. Putting out the feelers. If you guys want to call, or if you have called and it doesn't go through, just let me know in the chat. But phone line is open. Number to call, 260-255-4069 is the number to call. There is no wait right now. Putting it out on Twitter, just looking at it. Put it out on Instagram as well. Mario Cristobal, Malachi Tony, Mark Fletcher, I think is the big story here. 22 rushes for 133 yards on the ground. That's a hell of a night for him. Malachi Tony, 5 catches for 81 yards, has the big go-ahead touchdown. Just kind of back-breaking plays, to say the least. I thought Ole Miss struggled on offense early. There's a lot to be made. Number 12 says road to the Masters. He must be getting on there. Yeah, we'll be on here for about another 15, 20, depending on call volume, if we get some folks that want to call in. But yeah, that's kind of the story. I think when you write this story at the end of the year for Ole Miss, I think there's a lot of stories that should be told from this team. I think this goes down as our number 12. I'm number 11. Yeah, that is right. I forgot. So there's that. I think a lot of the Kiffin stuff, you have a lot of that goes away now. Transfer portal's open. Pete Golding gets to assume the role as being the head coach going into his first off season. Oh, Miami was the quote unquote lock. Number 11 says, we'll see. We'll have to see what it looks like. Awaiting the winner of awaiting the winner of Indiana and the Indiana and Oregon. Also, I think what do we have on the docket for tomorrow as well? I think we have NFL playoff games. So there's that. Don't know what that is, but the phone line is open. If you guys want to call in, you can. Number to call, 260-255-4069 is the number to call. Also, if you're new here and enjoy the content, do us the biggest favor, hit that like and subscribe button. Also, side note, Bears, Packers tomorrow, and then Panthers, Rams at 4:30, Bears, Packers on Amazon Prime at 8. That's going to be a whale of a game. And then Sunday, there's 3 games. And then Monday night, that's your whole playoff weekend. So as they show the highlights on the old ESPN ticker, it's showing a lot of stuff from tonight's game. It just one of those things that they Ole Miss just didn't get it done, and I think that I think a lot of people from the narrative side of things, I think when Carson Beck threw that interception, I think a lot of people thought the narrative was going to shift. Ole Miss gets into it. Kind kind of think the field goals were there. Seth comes in, big win for my Hurricanes. Yeah, I mean, that's a huge one. That is, Miami is going to play for a national championship versus either Oregon or Indiana. I wonder what the odds would have been on that preseason wise. I know a lot of people were big on, Miami's got to turn the corner, and I think for all intents and purposes, I think the Fire Mario people are real quiet today. So there is that. Also, phone line is open. Whether you're an Ole Miss fan or Miami person, you want to call in, you can. Number to call, 260-255-4069. Highlights from the big Trinidad Chambliss run that was tonight. It's going to be fascinating what goes on with his waiver. As I'm looking at it, I almost feel like that if Chambliss gets the waiver and gets to come back for another year, I think you have to put Ole Miss right back in the conversation at the top of the SEC, especially if they get him back. I think it'll help. Pete will be in charge of basically the whole offseason program, and he's going to get to run it the way he wants to run it. But I think tonight, you saw Ole Miss not quit at all. I think you've seen Miami. Ole Miss kept playing hard until the last play. It just one of those big things there. Seth says, great game for Carson Beck, 268 yards. Yeah, I mean, that's a hell of a night, especially on a big stage like this. A lot of people were kind of doubting him. I was a little bit in the skeptical category, but Ole Miss falls to Miami 31-27. I would say an ESPN Classic game. Don't know if that's going to be the last one for Trinidad Chambliss. I think that you have to look at it to see what else is out there. I think Ole Miss moves forward. They, do the whole portal thing. It just kind of just shapes it, to be honest. We'll have to see where this whole thing shakes out. Miami has punched their proverbial ticket to the national championship, so Miami moves on. First time since, what would that be, 2002, when they played Ohio State. So, well over 20 years for Miami to make it to the big stage. So you have that. Championship games the 19th. We're awaiting tomorrow's winner between Indiana, Oregon, to see exactly who Miami's going to line up against. I think that's going to be a hell of a game tomorrow as well. Just Ole Miss didn't have enough magic. I think that even though how close Ole Miss came tonight, I know Rebel fans probably don't want to hear this, but at the end of the day, I think it puts a huge, huge burden on Lane Kiffin to duplicate the success he had at Ole Miss at LSU. So that's about kind of where that's at. Also, got press conferences to watch going up to it. It just, there's a lot to digest here. Carson Beck, I believe, won the MVP of the Fiesta Bowl. So I do think Carson Beck deserved it. He bounced back. I didn't like his body language coming back onto the field, but it's all smiles and rainbows and butterflies. Ole Miss had some help tonight. I think that for the most part, it was kind of fitting on how this team was going to go out in the playoffs. I think Pete Golding set the standard high. I think there's a lot for narrative writing, but I do think for most of it, Carson Beck cleared a lot of his skeptics out of the way, in my opinion. So there's that. I think they're having all kinds of media availability right now. ESPN just puts out, is Trinidad Chambliss going to get a 6th year? I don't know. I think it's hard telling with what's going on. But basically, ESPN put out, Will Chambliss. Hold on here. The game was wild, but Carson Beck had a great year in Georgia too. Yeah, I think there was a lot to be said there. As you're seeing it on the TV right now, if there's some people that are watching live, Mario Cristobal and Carson Beck hugging it out. So there's kind of that. But you have the Ross Dillinger throwing up a tweet of Carson Beck exiting the field. But I think that, one of the bigger stories you can tell here is Mark Fletcher from tonight. Outside of Carson Beck, the quarterback's going to get all the pub. But Carson Beck, 268 through the air, QBR rating is 78.3. So there's that. Also, remind you guys again, phone line is open. If you want to call, go ahead and call now. Number to call, 260-255-4069. They're getting Ole Miss's media availability up and going at the press conference. So there is that. But yeah, I think the story of tonight is Mark Fletcher, and kind of Miami is going to play for the national championship in their home stadium. They don't have to leave. So also, if anybody's wondering, Pitbull is the halftime or the performer. So there is that. Don't know what else you can really say outside of, Ole Miss just kind of came up short. So I think it's kind of at a loss. I think that a lot of Ole Miss people will probably turn their attention to basketball season, and then baseball's coming up. So we'll see. I don't think this is the last time we're going to see Pete Golding or Ole Miss in the playoffs. It's hard to get there, but it's just kind of the luck of the draw. Some nights it ain't your night. So there's that. I'm just looking at some other stuff, trying to see if there's any comments from Pete Golding, but there is that. Also, if you're new here and want to do us the biggest favor, hit that like and subscribe button. Phone line is open for you folks out there. We'll probably stay on another 5 to 10 minutes. I was hoping to catch some of Pete Golding's if he had anything. Ole Miss has never made it to the championship in a long time. Yeah, that is true. So there's kind of that. Mario Cristobal doing all kinds of media before his press conference. So we'll see. But yeah, Ole Miss goes down tonight. It just wasn't their day. So phone line is open if you guys want to call. It's been a long game for most. I'll throw this back up there so people know. But the number to call, 260-255-4069 is the number to call. So that's kind of where we're at. Probably close her down in 5 minutes if nobody calls. So that's just kind of where I stand on it. But yeah, outside of that, I think you tell the Mark Fletcher story, especially Malachi Toney, just the big plays that he had tonight. So there is that. I guess there's some other news matriculating. About the Washington quarterback. I see what people are saying about that. So that's going to be a fascinating on how that whole thing ended up shaking out, to say the least. Shots of Miami in the locker room turning the proverbial page. We'll see, but that's just kind of where we're at right now. But yeah, appreciate everybody. The also number to call, 260-255-4069 is the number to call. So I guess we'll kind of keep it a moving and a grooving. It was, yep, it's going to be 3 straight seasons without a SEC team in the college football playoff national championship. So since the playoff era, that's just kind of, oh wow, we'll have to listen to that later. But Miami doing the whole belt to ass thing, I find that fascinating. Somebody also that was wildly quiet during the game, another Twitter account that I follow, was interesting. So there is that. Just looking at it, of course, ESPN's going to capitalize and play the Miami 30 for 30. Oh, yeah, they got Michael Irvin all over it, all over the place. Yeah, it's just interesting stuff, to say the least. But yeah, phone line is open if you guys want to call. But I know there's a ton of other people doing post game things. So there is that. Number to call, 260-255-4069 is the number to call. Just looking at some other stuff here. The Golding press conference is still going on, so no quotes yet. Outside of that, I hear too Bo Bichette may join my Phillies next week. Hey, that'll be good for you, man. So there is that. I don't know. Since you guys don't want to call, I guess we could probably go ahead and pack it up. We'll programming update. We're gonna do the same thing tomorrow night as we did tonight. And then Saturday we'll probably do some playoff games. I'll probably do a Bears Packers watch party. Might do that. Got some other things. Number to call, 260-255-4069 is the number to call. So that is basically where we're at the moment. But yeah, probably about 15 minutes after the final whistle tomorrow, we will we'll go live with a call-in show. My boy Richie's going to join for the for some of the watch party festivities as well. Oh wow. I guess there's a report that Mario Cristobal said, "Can we get our players up here instead of all these extra people?" Verbo lady, awkward speech that has way too many pauses, and it's clear she doesn't know football. Cristobal has zero interest in the trophy. Holds it up. Yeah, that's awkward. That's 100% awkward. So, Stefan Diggs and Mincy, 8 NFL teams searching for new head coaches. Yeah, that's going to be an interesting endeavor to say the least. So there's that. It's been a long day, folks. So no calls. With no calls coming in, I guess we'll go ahead and hop off and try again tomorrow. So we will talk to you guys tomorrow. If you watch this show at a later date, some of the things that I talked about are kind of the sticking points with me. The Fletcher's game on the ground, Ole Miss giving up that big touchdown, just, some things that they could have, that Ole Miss could have cleaned up, and they just quite didn't get it done. So I guess I'll leave it. I'll take one last attempt at it. Phone number is 260-255-4069. No wait to call in. So I'll stay on a little bit longer, but outside of that, I guess we'll wrap it up and more drama with another fan base. This is fascinating. All right, so there's that. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a good night, everybody. And if you can do us the biggest favor, hit that like and subscribe button, and we will talk to you tomorrow. Have a good night, everybody.